Hakim Bryant, undefeated prospect from Asbury Park. I mean, you talk about having an opportunity to do some damage. Going to be on the undercard of the Crawford fight this Saturday in Vegas. Kind enough to join us for a couple moments on this Wednesday. And Hakim, I appreciate a couple moments, pal. How you been?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing real well, and first and foremost, pretty nice opportunity for you, right? With the Crawford Postal WBO, WBC title fair Saturday in Vegas on the undercard. So talk about some exposure. That's not a bad way to go out.
Yeah, no. I'm really excited about the opportunity. When the opportunity was presented to us, there was no choice but to take it. That big of a fight. That big of an amount of exposure, you have to go with that.
Yeah.
So.
What do you know about your opponent? Because it seems as though he's kind of a come-forward type of fighter, kind of a grizzled vet, but he almost has that European style where he's not going to stand up, he's going to crouch down a little bit. I mean, is that, they say styles make the fights. I mean, what's your scouting report on, I believe it's pronounced Skorahod? I think he's Ukrainian.
Stanislav Skorahod. I can't really pronounce his name.
Neither can I. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. From what I see about him, he's a very come forward type of fighter. He's in my opinion, he's kind of one dimensional. He doesn't have too many angles. He just comes straight forward.
Mm-hmm.
He throws a good amount of punches, but he doesn't throw a lot of punches, and that's where I think where he's going to make a lot of mistakes at, in my opinion, based off of my style. I'm also a come forward type of fighter, but I throw volume,
right?
And I like to give angles, and that's the thing is that he's, from the fights that I've seen, he seems very one dimensional. Of course, everything might change when I get in the ring with him, but as far as I can see, there's a lot of mistakes in his game plan that I watch him make with other fighters that I can take advantage of.
I'm just curious. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this going to be a 6-rounder or 8-rounder?
6-rounder.
Okay, it's going to be a 6-rounder. So, again, you can still argue not a lot of margin of error. You want to try to get those early rounds and try to put them in the bank. But, he's got a good record as well, 10-1, and sometimes the records can be deceiving. You look at some of the guys that fighters respectively fight. You look at yourself, though, 26 years of age, 6-0. So I think it's a good step up for you. But you also had a pretty intensive amateur career as well. And I know, wasn't it your father, your uncle, I think your cousins were all fighters as well. They were all boxers, yes?
Yes. My father and a few of my uncles were cousins, as well as my grandfather, were all fighters. And that's how I kind of got into the sport.
And you look at, as an amateur, 64-14, I believe. So you had a lot of amateur experience. What was the hardest translation from the amateur ranks when you turn pro? What was that adjustment period? Because a lot of amateurs who turn pro tell me sometimes it's the headgear, sometimes they don't like it, sometimes it's the first time they get hit without the headgear, sometimes it's also they understand the scoring's a lot different. So what were some of the adjustments you made from amateur to pro?
That's definitely the biggest thing is the scoring. For me, the headgear wasn't a big issue because the year that I turned pro, the year prior was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I also competed at the U.S. Nationals, and I was a quarterfinalist at the U.S. Nationals, and there was no headgear. So I had fought 3 times at the U.S. Nationals, no headgear. So no headgear was nothing new to me. And so for me, it's the scoring system. The way it works is like the best way I can describe it for an amateur, if he's going to do it right, he pretty much wants to try to win the entire round. He wants to try to throw as many punches as he possibly can, and try to do it the best way he can to win the entire round. So you pretty much have to work that entire time. While on pros, from what I've seen it from the scoring system, is like you can not do a lot a certain round, and if you have finished the round with a strong flurry, you can win the round.
Yep.
And that's the way. The timing is so different, and that's how a lot of these guys go 12 rounds. Because it's not about just throwing. It's about timing your punches, placing your punches the right way, and making sure the judges see it properly and win the round based off of, like, let's say maybe a last-minute flurry, something of that nature.
No,
the scoring for me is definitely the biggest difference.
No, it's a great point you bring up because covering the Amis and the pros as well, you definitely can tell And people always, the misconception too with the standing 8 when the head snaps back, it does not affect the scoring whatsoever. People for some reason think it affects the scoring. It's more or less to keep the fighter in check for safety reasons. But you're absolutely right. I see a ton of amateurs and they turn pro, and they have an amateur style because they constantly go to the body, because that's the first and foremost that you're taught as an amateur. And I know you're also a New Jersey, state champ, 2-time Golden Glove champ. Now, you're training with Dan Doyle, correct?
Yes, Dan Doyle, Middletown Police Athletic League.
Yeah, and he does a great job with New Jersey Golden Gloves and the Amis. Let me ask you, I'm always interested too. How active do you want to be, and when do you foresee that step up to maybe an 8 or 10 round fight?
Possibly in next year. We're gonna try to get a few more 6s this year. I already have another 6-round fight scheduled lined up August 27th in Bayonne, and we're gonna try to stay active. I want to try to get this year. I want to try to get at least 4 fights. Next year, even 5 fights within a year. I want to try to stay as active as I possibly can. Me being 26 years old, it's not. Of course, it's not old in this sport at all, but it's definitely not young.
Right.
You got guys that I'm competing against that are 21, 22 years old. And I'm 26 years old. I don't want to be 35 just reaching my first title shot. I want to try to get at least, a title shot with it by the time that I hit 30.
No, you're right. That's the reality, and it's a realistic outlook as well. I'm curious too. You studied when you were in school culinary arts.
Yes, I did.
So you like to cook?
Yeah, I love to cook actually.
I'm just curious. Do they razz you in the gym though? A boxer, do they razz you in the gym a little bit? Because I heard look, I'm secure. Listen, I'm secure in myself, Hakim. I can say this. I say to some of the boxers that are good-looking guys. I was talking to Dan. He's like, look, he's a good-looking kid. He's charming. He likes to cook, but he also takes up boxing. Or do you tell him, you know what, don't even worry about it because I can cook you guys up a storm? Like, how do you approach that when they start to trash talk you?
No, I don't really receive any trash talk.
Good.
Crazy is that from a lot of guys. A lot of guys I receive, like they want tips on how to cook this or how to cook that. Most of the guys that I talk to have no idea how to cook, and that's one of the things that gives me a heads up.
Yeah.
I know how to work my well in the kitchen and the boxing ring, so it works for me.
You're probably saving a lot of relationships out there.
Yeah, I've had my fair share.
Listen, I'll leave you with this. I know, just look at the state of boxing, and I'm just curious. You fight as a middleweight. Forget about the middleweight division for a moment. What other division do you really follow? Like, I absolutely love watching the welterweight division. I think it's the middleweight division definitely stacked, but the welterweight to me that's where all the juice is. Yeah, the welterweight division. I think the biggest names right now are in the welterweight division. You got guys like Adrian Broner. Of course he was at 140, but I think he's gonna move his way up to the welterweight division. You got Errol Spence. You have who else? The Thurmans, the Crawfords, the Porters. Like there's so many people right now at the welterweight division that is packed right now. So that's definitely the division to watch. Before I let you get out here, got about 30 seconds. What would a win mean to you on Saturday night, especially on that card, that exposure, and going forward? What would it mean? A win for me on Saturday night would be a life-changing experience. I'll be able to, show my talents in front of pretty much the entire world, at least the boxing world. And I'll be able to show my talents in front of Bob Arum, Top Rank Promotions, and potentially maybe line up a promotional contract with them. That honestly would change my life and get me on the right path that I need to be at. So that's one thing that would mean everything to me. So this fight for me is a do or die type of situation. All right. Well, listen, I know you got a lot of it's a good boxing area down here in South Jersey, Central North Jersey too, with a lot of people in Asbury Park that tune in as well. Wish you the best of luck on Saturday. Open invite. Hopefully we can talk along the way, and I appreciate a couple moments. All right. Thank you so much, Rich. All right. You got it. All right, Hakim. Be well, pal.